Good afternoon. I'm over here on Gulf Gate Drive near Sarasota Pavilion. Just stopped into the Marshall store and bought a cold Coke Zero. Pretty nice cashier ladies. Always hope that they're safe and happy with a lot of good future. Anyway, something irritating happened a little while ago, though. I was on a bus I was about to get on a bus when some accosting started at me from the sound of an airliner in the distance west of me again. Again, it was from false secret accusation that started at me during high school, accusing that I had said threat against Jewish people. But I'm certain that I didn't. But anyway, they're from the former stepfather, and this time they wanted to say your mouse in Poland accusation about it. Well, they're really serious. They like saying Holocaust threats. They've been saying Auschwitz threats for years. And I just want to say that they're exactly wrong. The former stepfather on one day during high school portrayed himself as very amusedly joking against an old neighbor man. I made the mistake of thinking him as being fatherly and trustworthy and just briefly joked along with him. But I consider to care about the people, and when I was in college a couple of years later, one of my roommates was a Jewish man, and a very pretty and nice girlfriend was a Jewish lady. So anyway, they like to say things like the former stepfather still likes to backbite and say things, you're what you said or what you once said and all that, but he and others carefully avoid what they themselves have said. But I've been documenting them for many years, and with some help, the former stepfather, William B. Love, and others will be in the trouble that they deserve. One of the instances, actually, I think I've mentioned it before, but I'm going to mention it again, was probably on a night in 2021. There was a night where the former stepfather wanted to get into Area Sound, the Gulf Gate area, saying that he believed that everyone had suddenly been gassed in their homes. There was less, I think I noticed that there was less traffic than usual, but I was, of course, continuing to hope that everyone was safe instead. But, anyway, about his threat, I called Crime Stoppers. Since I couldn't see or know anything that was going on, I was hoping everyone was all right, but I reported the threat because I knew who was saying it. So anyway, I never heard any feedback about it, but I had been a lot of good caring reporting against gassing threats before the particular night, and part of the detail goes back to the former stepfather again. And I'll just briefly review that I have a theory that isn't completely proven yet, that I've mentioned before about the secret hernia operation that they inflicted into me during high school. That besides the hernia repair, they did some installing, and they basically invaded my life and substantially took my life away starting when I was 16 or 17. Well, during the same time frame, that was back in 71 or 72, the operation, of course, I was under anesthesia, ether, whatever they use. During the same year, or approximately the same year, one of the two, 71 or 72, there was an instance where I was working for the Sebring Water Department, and I was in a hole where they were tapping in some chlorine. And for whatever reason, the tap leaked. I had to get out of the hole fast, and there was chlorine leak. You can see the chlorine. You can't see the chlorine gas, but you can see what it's doing. That the chlorine kills everything in its path. All the green grass turns brown. So anyway, my theory is that they pivoted on the matter, and during around the same year, it was maybe about a year after that leak, that something named Ethernet was invented. A fiber optic cable that ended up being installed underground in pipes. Well, I don't know why they named it ether. You can look to different definitions in the dictionary about ether, but most everyone's understanding about the definition of ether is something of a gas. So anyway, you have the basis of the possibility of, somebody developed something interesting, but uses a name that indicates gas also. So what ended up happening, the best of my understanding, is that the former stepfather pivoted on my employment with the water department and his business that included electronics. He had an aircraft parts and components business, and gradually developed being a conspiracy of gassing people. And an indication here locally in the Gulf Gate area some years ago, before 21, that I had noticed that there was somebody living off of Gulf Gate Drive near Beneva by the name of Zyklon. And I don't like to pick at people's names. Oftentimes there's coincidences, but the name reminds of the terrible gas that the Nazis used during World War II, Zyklon. So anyway, that was a concern. And on another day after that, I was reminded of the last work that I ever did for Bill Love, the former stepfather, when I still didn't suspect him of anything. That was near the end of 1990. I accompanied him to his Sebring warehouse, where he wanted me to cut a channel through his parking lot to extend his water pipe to the west side of his parking lot. Just a thin cut in the asphalt. I think the pipe is only about a 1-inch pipe, PVC. So anyway, when I saw a similar job in progress off of Beneva near Gulf Gate Drive on the corner of Fuller and I think it's West Wind, that I kind of wondered. It was just a couple of doors away from the house named Zyklon. So it's right on the other side of St. Andrew's United Church of Christ. So there ended up being rumors about the big coils of the bright orange tubing that the underground cable was being installed into. And then one day, sometime after, I was sitting over on the roadside on Beneva doing some computer work, when I noticed there's some various stakes sticking out of the ground that have tubing from the underground cables. Well, all of them have valves on them that look kind of like bicycle fill valves. That the underground tubing is pressurized. And anyway, so as I'm speaking, there was a man who just voiced over from the Sebring operation to elaborate that he wanted to mention the word is pressurized. So my theory is that there were some, however great and good the underground cable and tubing is, that there are some who could easily have been conspiring to alter the pressurization inside of the cable tubing to something that would be noxious or poisonous instead. So hopefully it isn't possible. There's some that say that the connects from the roadside underground tubing, that there's actually a block between the wall of the house and the external pipe. I don't know. But what I do want to say, again, is there was a particular night where a very technically knowledgeable former stepfather who said earlier in his life, as a matter of fact, that he was the originator of the term avionics. There was a particular night where he wanted to announce that he believed that everyone was being gassed in their homes. So anyway, about what he said, he's what he said. And there are many other announcements that he had said through the years since. All of the details go back to when he, as a stepfather, paid for an operation that started to usurp my life away. So anyway, this continues to hope for everyone being safe in their homes instead, for people to have clean air and have a good day, have a good week.